4-day event on our beautiful Three Rivers. It's just part of the activities that take place during the Three Rivers Regatta, but the race itself is certainly the highlight, needless to say.
Regatta!
Bill Seebold comes charging into Pittsburgh, hard on the heels of 2 consecutive victories. His job is to make it 3 in a row, but the men and women who work so hard on these Formula One powerboats see it a little differently. Their job, take the victory away from Seebold and keep it for themselves. All eyes are on the Allegheny and on this man, fast-running pole sitter Felix Serralles. He took the pole away from Seebold for the 20-lap qualifier, but can he win where it counts? Some of the best powerboat racers in the world are lined up at the start dock for the Three Rivers Regatta. Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, the Allegheny River. Some say this is the toughest course on the entire IOGP circuit. And for some, the crying is already started.
Yeah, we had some things vibrate loose in the motor and some valves suck into the cylinders.
You know, it's the old saying, if you can't beat them, join them.
Looks like I'm going to be starting behind the 8 ball.
Everywhere we went, there was just a problem.
Seebolds have had the luck this year.
We don't feel that we've done the best job we could.
You have to be fast too.
Hopefully we'll be fast enough to beat Billy. I know that everybody else is getting tired of it at this point, but I'm not.
Here in Pittsburgh at the Three Rivers Regatta, they don't run one race, they run 2. This is the race before the race, Walt.
Well, here in Pittsburgh, the 500,000 fans demand a lot of racing. They get it in this qualifying race. Here you've got to win the pole for the 50-lap main event. Right there you see number 7, Bill Seebold. He goes out with his signature, and that's jumping out front from the very beginning. He knows he wants to be on the pole when the 50-lap main event comes. There'll be 500,000 people in the shadow of Three Rivers Stadium here to watch that man hopefully win his 3rd in a row.
These racers aren't just driving against each other, they're also driving against the elements. This is the Allegheny River. This is one of the roughest rivers on the entire circuit. It's not just rough, it's treacherous.
Well, the treacherous part of this river is it's a big river, and it flows a lot of water down to make the Ohio where the Allegheny and the Monongahela meet. Here you get what they call surface reflections. The bottom of the river is reflected on the top of the river. You get a lot of rollers that show off the bottom contours. And as you chop the water back and forth between these solid stone walls along the edge of the Allegheny, big river boats parked along the edge, it's going to get very rough. Just in the 20-lapper and twice as rough in the 50-lapper.
It takes more than guts to win this race. It takes more than luck. What it takes is experience.
Even the experience of being a 5-time world champion in another class may not be enough, because Formula One calls for its own special kind of experience, and Rusty Campbell, number 43, knows what it's going to take.
I've had some bad luck. I've had a propeller break. I've had engines blow up, and not really the kind of finishes I want. Not very consistent. And what we're doing now, we got 2 new boats ordered for next year, and we're just building really to go into next year. I mean, we're just a race by race. We're not into points. I'm probably in the top 10 somewhere, but I'm not a threat to win the points by any means, because we missed some races. We're building, and we're starting now. We're testing and racing for next year's River Race Augusta, where we'll come out and hopefully may win the race.
Some drivers take their time working up through the ranks, but other drivers like this man jump right in with both feet.
Well, Billy Joel started very quickly in SST 140, and it wasn't long before he dove right into Formula One. And this is a man that's preparing for a victory for 19 and 93. He's going to be there. He's going to be ready. Number 83, Kevin Miller. He's back after a 1-year layoff. He picks up a new sponsor, Arco Starting and Charging Specialist, and he's back out running right up in the hunt. And right next to him, number 88, that's Felix Serralles. Now, Serralles back after half a season gone over in Europe, but he comes back here and he's ready to run for the front. So a lot of people are prepared to knock Billy Seebold off the pole, but right now he's running out in front. He wants that pole position.
And what Bill Seebold wants, Bill Seebold is accustomed to getting. Bill Seebold finishing first in the 20-lap qualifier. That means Mr. Bill gets the pole for the 50-lap main event.
Of course, we're starting from pole. It'd be nice to go out and win it. Nobody's done that for 3 or 4 years, so we're going to give it a shot. But our #1 goal is to get out there and finish and not have a crash.
Welcome, race fans, to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania and the Don Q Powerboat Series of Racing. I'm Peter Combs with WALT YARBROUGH. WALT, this is a beautiful city, a beautiful river, but a very rough river.
Well, very deceptively rough. It starts off smooth, but then it gets very rough here on the Allegheny. Again, it's a stone-encased river. The waves bouncing back and forth. What starts off as a 50-lap sprint race ends up being a 50-lap endurance race.
But you know, this rough water could be very good news for two of our drivers, Bill Seebold, of course, and Rick Adamczyk.
Well, Seebold having a vintage Seebold year. He's already got 2 in a row, looking for the three-peat. But Rick Adamczyk, remember Bay City. It was rough water Rick who took it there, and he could be the man to watch today.
We have an exciting race coming up. Stay with us as we get ready to drop the flag.
The Don Q Powerboat Racing Series is brought to you by Don Q Rum, fine Puerto Rican rum. Welcome back to the Don Q Powerboat Racing Series, brought to you in part by Bud Light. If you want great taste that won't build you up and never let you down, make it a Bud Light.
It is Pittsburgh's premier motorsports event, and you can tell there are 500,000 people here to watch this race.
The bridges are all lined. The parks are all full. They've all come to one place, the Allegheny River. The young, the old, they're all here in Pittsburgh to watch the 50-lap main event, the Don Q Powerboat Series. There's number 71, the Arcadian of Jim Howenstein, as he gets over towards the starting dock. There goes number 94, Steve D'Souza, as he pulls away. Number 11, Michael Seebold, waiting to go to the starting dock. And sitting on the pole, Bill Seebold, number 7, Bud Light, out of St. Louis, Missouri. Behind him, number 83, Kevin Miller, he's out of Florida. Then the Don Q sponsored unit, number 88 out of Puerto Rico, Felix Serralles. Then Billy Joule, the Maxi Blast, number 38.
Following Bill Joule, 77, Scott Gilman. Then 16, Tim Seebold, Rusty Campbell, and number 11, Mike Seebold. Then number 94, Steve D'Souza, Jim Howenstein, Rick Adamczyk, and Brett May. John Friesen, the rookie from Canada, Larry Everitt, Bob Humphrey, and Kay Marshall. Then Doug Marjatak, Robert Rafalco, Ben Robertson, and Joe Yahustek.
Now for our red line oil course description. They'll go out across the Allegheny, underneath the Fort Duquesne Bridge, down towards the 6th Street Bridge through turns 3 and 4, back down the front straightaway underneath the Fort Duquesne Bridge again, then turns 1 and 2 and back up the back stretch. It's going to be a tough 50 laps out here on the Allegheny in the Don Q Powerboat Series, the Three Rivers Regatta.
You couldn't ask for a finer day here in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. The drivers all lined up at the docks. The crew steadying the boats. The flag is up. The flag comes down, and here they go. And off to an early start, number 83, Kevin Miller.
All year long, we've seen number 7, Billy Seebold. He's the one that always got the jump off the start dock. But Kevin Miller is here to stop the reign of Billy Seebold. He comes off very quickly. Coming up behind him is number 7, Bill Seebold. Right now, it's number 83, Kevin Miller. He has to maintain his lane down towards turn number 1. There they go into the turn. On the inside, it's number 7, Bill Seebold. On the outside, number 83, Kevin Miller. They come off the corner in a drag race. Then number 88, that is Felix Serralles. 77, Scott Gilman. Wide to the outside is number 38, Billy Joule. Then number 11, Michael Seebold.
This is a rough course, a windy course, and it demands every bit of skill of each one of these drivers. Two of the most skillful drivers on the course right now in the lead. Number 7, Bill Seebold. Number 83, Kevin Miller.
Well, Seebold and Miller both know if you're going to get out in front in this race, you better do it right away because it's going to get rough on the Allegheny. Bill Seebold tunning a lot of air. He goes underneath the bridge right there in the shadow of the Fort Duquesne Bridge. The air actually compresses underneath those bridges, and they have to really watch it when they go in there. And going into turn number 3 and across to turn number 4 is our leader, Bill Seebold. He's got 1 lap under his belt and 49 left to go. But he's got Miller behind him, Serralles behind him, number 11, Michael Seebold, number 38, Billy Joule, as they all chase the leader.
On these rough and treacherous waters in the Allegheny River, these drivers know they can get in trouble in a heartbeat, and yet they drive with supreme confidence. One of the reasons is because they know if trouble does occur, there's someone there to help. That someone is Jim Poplick with the Stars Powerboat Rescue Team.
One of the key things that we've done and that we've established over the years is rapid response. I used to keep times on the guys whenever an accident happened. The second it happened, we put a stopwatch on and see how long it took to get to them. And we'd like to get to them within 9 to 10 seconds. And the reason being, if we're in an upside-down situation, we've got to attack the situation very, very fast. And then once they get on the scene, or once they arrive at the site of the accident, we may have to go down into a slowdown method to evaluate what we need to do. But all in all, it's a very, very rapid deployment that we have to do.
And rapid is that man out in front, number 7, Billy Seebold. Behind him, Kevin Miller. And back in third is number 88, the Don Q rumboat of Felix Serralles. Serralles' teammate 3 years ago won here, but Felix took second, but has yet to get the checkered flag in Pittsburgh. Serralles brings it out underneath the bridge. He looks in his rear view mirrors. He sees number 38, the Maxi Blast, B&B Racing of Billy Joule back there. This young man, he's also primed for a victory. Everyone wants to come to Pittsburgh, here to the Allegheny River, to win here in front of the huge crowds they've got in Pittsburgh. Would be the creme de la creme of one man's career.
And yet safety is a major concern. Number 38, Billy Joule, as he comes into the turn, watching past this back marker. Bill just on the very edge of control and yet maintaining his boat very flat in the water. He passes the back marker before he gets to the corner, sets himself up, and makes the turn.
And as Billy Joule comes out of the corner, look at the side of his boat. Bright blue letters, Maxi Blast. That's his sponsor. Here in Pittsburgh, as all the races, sponsorship is the name of the game.
It's a unique course. As you know, Pittsburgh is probably our gemstone site. We have over 200,000 live spectators. Every sponsor that is interested or involved in our series wants a piece of the action here because there are so many people here. It's a unique course from a driver's standpoint that it's also the roughest course we race on, and that makes it extremely difficult. A lot of pressure on you to do well, but yet the equipment just won't take a lot of rough water, or it's an easy course to get in a lot of trouble.
Steve D'Souza is a man who knows a lot about trouble this year. In Augusta, he sank. He's had engine trouble in Kansas City. He feels he's due.
As we look out over the official desk, they're all scoring the race, and they're scoring that man right there, number 7, Billy Seebold, out in front. It's the same thing they've done for the last 2 races. He slides it off the corner. That's there at the 6th Street Bridge. Now he's heading downriver towards the Ohio and underneath the Fort Duquesne Bridge. There's number 57, Benny Robertson. That's the IBM ThinkPad sponsored entry. That's the 3rd different boat we've seen Benny race this year. He started off in a Vandervelden hull. Then he went to a Seebold hull. Now he's to a Burgess hull. He is doing everything he can, spending money, spending time, because he wants to finish up at the top of the field.
We're looking at some great racing here, and here's how you can tell. Tim Seebold, number 16, running at 115 miles an hour. His dad is in the lead. He's running at 121 miles an hour. Only 6 miles an hour separates the leader from the number 4 driver in this race so far.
Well, Timmy Seebold is going to run a very consistent race. He's sitting up very well in the points so far this year. He's running for the Don Q team. Now here's a man with a mission, number 11, Michael Seebold. He's a reigning 1992 national champion. He wants to finish on top of the field. Number 3, Bobby Humphrey. He's having a terrible year.
Once again, Bobby Humphrey dead in the water. But here's a guy who's really trying to make something of this particular race. Number 83, Kevin Miller. Kevin started out great after a 1-year hiatus. He did well in Augusta. But then in Bay City, he sank. Then in Kansas City, he sank. Kevin is really trying to get something going here. He needs to make it happen for his brand new sponsor, Arco, starting and charging.
As they slam around the Allegheny River, these boats take a terrible beating, and what takes the biggest beating of all is the gear case. Now that's where the power is transferred to the water through the propeller. These are very narrow, single-direction Speedmaster gear cases. They're just boats are actually standing on 2 or 3 blades of the propeller, and they take a tough beating out here because if it gets beat up, it'll take a boat out in just a heartbeat.
Number 57, Ben Robertson. Number 16, Tim Seebold. They're slugging it out for 4th place, but there's the leader. The man to beat, number 7, sponsored by Bud Light. That's Bill Seebold, and he continues to lead this race in the very rough Allegheny River.
Well, as you can see, as he came right at us, you can see the very narrow profile of the gear case I was talking about, and the blade spinning at 10,000 RPM. And there's one that's spinning no more, number 77, Scott Gilman. There goes number 69, Robert Rafalco.
That's going to bring out the yellow flag. We'll be back in just a moment to Three Rivers Regatta on the Allegheny River in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Welcome back to the Don Q Powerboat Series of Racing here at the Three Rivers Regatta in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I'm Peter Combs with WALT YARBROUGH. We're operating right now under the yellow flag as it cleared debris from the race course. We're expecting the green flag shortly. What this means is that any lead Bill Seebold has built up over the past several laps has been evaporated away. Here's the green flag, and racing is once again underway.
Well, it's full speed racing, and here they come back again while going around the course at about 45 miles an hour. Under the yellow flag, they roughed up what was already a very rough rough race course, so they're going to have to dance across this rough water. Billy Seebold jumps out the lead. Coming behind him is Kevin Miller. Then number 88, Felix Serralles coming up, and Billy Joule going wide to the outside. Then number 5, Rick Adamczyk. But it's that man right there who's been chasing him all day long. He won the pole position for the 20-lapper, but it was Bill Seebold who sat on the pole. Then Kevin Miller came out and chased him hard, but Billy Seebold has shown us full vintage Seebold all afternoon as he continues to run right where he likes it, out front.
Each of these drivers is living on the edge. It's extremely difficult to control these boats in the rough water, and as you can see, many of these drivers are frequently in the air, airborne, as they go from one wave to another.
Previous world champion Nicky Lauda in Formula One car driving compared driving a Formula One boat like driving a Formula One car over a plowed field with no brakes. So these drivers out there are having a tough time out on the Allegheny. They're taking their chances, but only the best will survive. Right now, number 7, Bill Seebold, he's out front. Then Kevin Miller in behind him. Then number 88, Felix Serralles back in 3rd position.
Now imagine being a driver and getting beat up on a course like this. It's pretty tough on the drivers. Now you can imagine how tough it is on the equipment. We asked number 38, Billy Joule.
You don't like to let off and just cruise out there. You want to be out front, but I think if you stay up in the top 3, 4, 5 even, you know, and just sit back and try to save the motor and save the equipment a little bit, because it's so rough out there that the prop's coming out of the water and the motor's constantly over revving, so you gotta cool it for a while.
Well, number 7, Bill Seebold, he doesn't want to cool it. He wants to make it a 3-peat. He wants 3 in a row. But there's a lot of people out there that would like to stop him. Kevin Miller in behind him. Then Felix Serralles, Billy Joule, and the whole rest of the field. Number 43, that's the man out of Augusta, Georgia. He's a 5-time Mod VP world champion. Only his 2nd year in Formula One, but he's coming up strong. Whoa, look out there. He and Rick Adamczyk nearly got together coming out of that corner. Rusty Campbell and Rick Adamczyk almost take it down.
Number 38, Billy Joule, averaging 118 miles an hour right now. He looks back and sees this battle in his rearview mirror. This is the battle for 5th place. Number 43, Rusty Campbell, duking it out with number 5, Rick Adamczyk. Adamczyk won here in 1991. He also won an extremely rough water course in Bay City, Michigan earlier this year. The question is, can rough water Rick do it again?
Right now, number 7, Billy Seebold goes around. Number 11, Michael Seebold, putting a lap on his son, the reigning world champion in Formula One. He takes it down the corner, heading down towards turn number 3, and then across to turn number 4 to mark up one more lap to bring him one lap closer to the victory he wants right here in Pittsburgh. Out in front of him, number 55, Kay Marshall. She's the wonder from down under, here all the way from Queensland, Australia to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Walt back in turn number 3, right between 3 and 4. That's Rick Adamczyk's boat. There's the boat. Where's the driver? This is extremely ironic. Here comes Rick Adamczyk up. Right there he is. Extremely ironic because Rick Adamczyk went over in the exact same location back in 1992, just 1 year ago. Adamczyk isn't the only one with troubles. There's number 94. Steve D'Souza looks like he's going to have to be towed off the course.
Well, it brings us back under a yellow flag restart again. They were able to get to him very quickly. It'll be a rolling start. Everyone's pulled up right behind Bill Seebold. They'll be ready to get this race restarted. And number 88, Felix Serralles, goes wide to the outside. Kevin Miller comes in. Here comes the green flag. It's back to full speed racing. And number 7, Billy Seebold, takes off back out front again on his outside. Number 83, Kevin Miller, far wide to the outside. Number 88, Felix Serralles. Down on the inside, it's number 38, Billy Joule. They're coming down to the turn, and very quickly the turn, it's Billy Joule flowing over down on that corner and ramming into the back of him. Number 83, Kevin Miller, as they're just hung together down there, Peter.
It looks like Kevin Miller is jumping right out of his boat and going to the aid of his friend, Billy Joule. Kevin opens the canopy, and it looks like it's going to be some work trying to get Bill Joule out of there.
Somehow these boats seem to be absolutely locked together. It looks like the back of Billy Joel's boat is interlocked with the front of Kevin Miller's boat. Miller down there trying to release his good friend Bill Joule from the cockpit. Billy down there trying to get that quick release. Here comes the Stars Powerboat Rescue Team. They'll take over the job of Kevin Miller.
Well, let's take a look at the Achilles replay and try to piece together what happened in this accident. From left to right, Felix Serralles, Kevin Miller, Bill Seebold, and there on the inside is Billy Joule. Billy Joule tries to cut to the inside of Bill Seebold, but instead ends up rolling over the buoy and Bill Seebold's wake. When he lands, he's almost dead in the water, and he's impaled by number 83, Kevin Miller's right sponson.
Well, what happens, they were traveling at speeds approaching 120 plus miles an hour going into that corner. When Bill Joule rolled over to the outside, he braked to nearly nothing, so he was slammed into the rear at full speed by Kevin Miller, but there was no place for Miller to go.
Well, the question now is, how is Bill Joule and how will he fare in the hours to come? Back on the racetrack, we're underway, the green flag is out, and once again, it's Mr. Bill Seebold, taking the lead. Behind him is Felix Serralles, behind him is his son, Tim Seebold.
And then coming up on the inside is number 43. That is the boat of Rusty Campbell. He's a lap down, but trying to move up on the field as he comes wide to the outside. There's number 57, Ben Robertson. He's been moving up to the field all day long, and a couple of restarts have given him the opportunities he wants to try to take a victory here in Pittsburgh.
Ben Robertson has been sort of the stealth racer. He's been silently and almost invisibly moving up throughout this race, but it's coming down to the flag, and the man who's going to take that flag is going to be number 7, Bill Seebold, winning for the 3rd time in a row. Behind him, Felix Serralles, and then number 57, Ben Robertson. But it's this man's day to shine. Number 7, Bill Seebold, sponsored by the Bud Light team. We'll have more from Pittsburgh right after this.
Well, it's been tough all year on restarts on Billy Seebold, but today it's the three-peat, a happy man with a checkered flag.
Augusta will live in my memory forever. And on the 46th lap to have it stopped again, I go, oh no, I hope they have a yellow, not a red restart. So they did, and you know, it worked fine for us. It's just that one, I was a little slow. I was a split second slow on the green, and you know, everybody was beside me down at the corner, and it got crowded.
It was a command performance by Bill Seebold, and it gives him a commanding lead in the points totals. He's followed by his son Tim, his other son Mike, Bill Joule, Rick Adamczyk, and Steve D'Souza.
Rounding out the top 12, John Friesen, Rusty Campbell, Craig Wendt, Kevin Miller, Felix Serralles, and Scott Gilman.
Well, here in Pittsburgh, this was one of the most exciting races we've had all season long, and it was a little reminiscent of what happened back in Augusta.
Because in Augusta, Georgia, we had a restart after 45 laps. Here in Pittsburgh, we had a restart after 45 laps. But here, the difference was Bill Seebold was not going to be denied. He had 300,000+ witnesses right here in Pittsburgh on the Allegheny. He took it at the restart, won it, put a victory in his pocket. That's a three-peat for Mr. Bill. He's got so many points, he may be uncatchable for the rest of the season.
Well, that's it for us here in Pittsburgh. With Walt Yarborough, I'm Peter Combs.
The Don Q Powerboat Racing Series is brought to you by Don Q Rum, fine Puerto Rican rum, and in part by Bud Light. If you want great taste that won't fill you up and never let you down, make it a Bud Light.